What's up, guys? We had a ton of UX Beyblade stuff drop today, so we're going to talk about it. We're going to go pretty in depth, talk about the new parts, new blades, everything new that we have info for that dropped today. So, last issue of Core, we got a sneak peek of the new UX Beyblade that's coming out. That has turned out to be a drawn sword variant. So it is dranbuster, which is pretty cool. It looks very similar to Excalibur. It looks like it comes with the 160 ratchet, so that's supposed to sort of line up with the big sword point. And then it comes with the A bit. I'm not sure what A stands for, but it is a flat bit with a higher gear ratio. So more teeth than any of the bits that we've gotten so far. So this should be the fastest attack bit. It should be faster than gear flat. And it should have better stamina than gear flat as well, just because it doesn't have the teeth that go all the way down. It does have like the normal flat bit, it just has more teeth. So it is wider, which is pretty interesting. That's sort of like a common theme with this UX stuff, is the bits are wider, which a lot of people were saying, oh, they can't do bigger bits, they can't do wider. I've been saying for like months that like they can just make the bottom bigger, and that's exactly what they've done. So I think that this will be a really good attacker. So you guys will notice that a large chunk of like the metal on the plastic tabs where the launcher goes, those have switched to plastic. So it used to be metal, those are plastic now. I think that is to sort of move around some of the weight distribution. So I expect more weight will be sort of on the outside of the blade rather than those 3 points on the top. So it probably doesn't sound like a lot, but if you guys know, Night Shield has just a tiny little piece of metal molded into the bottom of the blade to throw it off balance, and it does. It's not a lot of metal, but moving that metal to the bottom underneath the blade will probably change weight distribution quite a bit. May help the impact, especially on that sword blade. I imagine most of the weight's going to be on that focal point. So I imagine this blade is going to be pretty off balance. So it's going to be like you got 1 or 2 tries to get a hit in, and if you don't, the thing's probably going to have terrible stamina. It would probably be the worst stamina drawn blade that we have so far, but it'll probably be a great attacker if you can get in a hit. I think the bit will be really good. And then the ratchet, I mean, we'll have to see. I can't imagine running it on anything other than this, just because it's going to be off balance, but we'll see how it lines up with other previously released Beyblades. So maybe it'll be useful on other things as far as that ratchet goes, but I'm not expecting a whole lot. The next Beyblade that we have is Wizardrod. So this is like a complete redesign of Wizard. So the roundness of it kind of reminds me more of Hellscythe, maybe Hellscythe and Wyvern. You will see that like the points on the blade do look a bit thinner, kind of like Wyvern, which as far as Wyvern goes, it is like not particularly great because of how light it is. Stamina's not bad, it's just like it's pretty light. So, but this has the same thing where those top points where the launcher connection prongs are, those are plastic as well. So it may be that the weight distribution is like more solidified on this the sort of metal ring. So maybe there's more weight underneath. Maybe it has really good stamina. Maybe this replaces Hellscythe. I don't know. But the blade does look really cool. The new chip design, I love this new Wizard chip design. I think it looks really cool. This has some really interesting parts. It's got 570, which I don't think will be bad. I think we're getting more height. It's sort of like middle ground height. So we're going, we went from 60 to 80. Now we've got this sort of middle. So now we've got this sort of like middle ground ratchet. The 5-sided ratchets don't burst super easy, so that's probably pretty good. The most interesting thing I think for this one is DB. I'm not sure what the D stands for. If you guys know, feel free to throw it in the comments. Something ball. But the ratchet is, or the bit rather, is super wide. It looks like it's almost as wide as the ratchet, and I think that's going to be super good. As long as it's not low enough that it scrapes, like if it goes off balance or whatever, I think it's going to be a really good bit. It may outclass Ball and Orb as far as like stamina bits go, just because One, it lowers the center of gravity, because it looks like a really big bit. It lowers the center of gravity, which is going to help sort of like the off balance sort of nature of X because of how tall they are. I think it's going to be a really good bit, dropping the center of gravity. Also, if it's low enough to where when it does tilt, like hardcore tilt, it rolls, it's going to have really good LAD, which is going to be great for stamina. Really looking forward to the new wizard. I think it looks really cool. And then for the last UX Beyblade that we have confirmed, we have the new Hell variant. So this is Hellhammer, and this is super interesting because it looks very similar to A, Feather, and B, it also looks very similar to Bird's original Beyblade, Strike Hawk. So theory is that Bird is taking everything that he's learned so far, because like Hell Scythe was given to him, and Chain is sort of like moving towards what they think would be beneficial for Bird for usage. Because again, Hell Scythe was not designed for Bird in mind, like considering his playstyle. So they made Chain's a little bit closer. I think this is going to be like the culmination of like all of the experience that he's gathered so far and all of the info that they've gathered. Because again, like during the chapter, or the episode, I guess rather, where they're talking about making the Beyblades, they use the info gathered from the Battle Pass, and they use that to sort of like create the Beyblade. So this looks like a combination of Hell and Strike Hawk aesthetically. Also looks kind of similar to Phoenix, Phoenix Feather. So maybe Bird is like looking at that because they got one of those basically for free. Maybe they're looking at that and going, well, I kind of want some of these elements and this and that, and it looks really cool. Initial like top-down picture, I was like, I don't know how good that's going to be because it looks pretty rounded, but it does have some interesting curves. It reminds me of the spiral wheel from Metal Fight, or the screw wheel, which is really good in Metal Fight. It's a very good attack blade. It's like, for a limited format, very good. So if it's anything like that, I think it'll be pretty good. The blade looks sick. I love it. I think out of all three of these, this new Hell variant might be my favorite. I think all of them look really good. But this one looks awesome. So this has 370, again, sort of like middle of the road ratchet, 3-sided, between 60 and 80. So I don't think that's anything too special. And then you've got the hammer bit, which to me looks not great. Some people looking at this might think, oh, it looks like wide defense. That is not a wide defense. That is a weird angular, like, it looks like a flat bit. It looks like flat on the sides, where it's just like an angular triangle thing. I don't think that's like a wide defense. I think it's literally like a wedge type bit. So it's got more teeth, again, like the other ones as well. But to me, out of the three, that bit looks the weakest. But we'll have to see. I'm very curious how that is supposed to perform. I don't think it'll be good. That's my prediction. So let me know what you guys think of this bit. I don't know. But overall, the blade looks very cool. I think the ratchets for all of them will be pretty much fine. I think the one ratchet I don't think we'll see a lot of use is the one-sided ratchet. Unless it just doesn't burst, unless it's like really hard to burst, I just don't see people using that because it's so off balance. Maybe they run it on other attack types too. It also depends on where it lines up as far as like other blades go, because it looks like it's really designed to line up with that big sword point. But we also got a white string launcher. Nothing particularly crazy about that, just another string launcher. We've got the entry set, which is some like minor recolors. So you've got a slightly different like center chip for the drawn Beyblade, sort of like the original entry set where like the chip was like a clear blue. And then the wizard looks like sort of like an off-white, sort of darker yellow color, amber almost. The stadium is just a white stadium with, it looks like gold rails. I guess it could be orange ish. The launchers that come with it look like literally just re-releases of previous launchers. They've just swapped the rip cords, because that yellow and the yellow rip cord with the white launcher was like a Leon thing. So nothing too crazy about the entry set. I'll probably skip the entry set, to be completely honest with you. I'll probably skip the white string launcher. The other thing that we got is some new grips. So we've got a new red grip and a white grip. The white grip looks really cool, kind of giving me like Dragoon vibes, sort of Bakugan shoot grip, which looks really cool. These don't look to be like rubber grips, they're just plastic attachments, but it does look like it extends the handle out more to make it more ergonomic, which the original launchers are like sorely lacking. They're not super comfortable to hold, so I think these will be really cool. I'll probably pick up one of these. I don't know if I'll get both, maybe at some point, but I'll probably grab the red one. For sure, grab them, all the boosters and starters. They look very cool. So I think all of these, look really cool. I'm very interested to know sort of what ends up happening with the drawn Beyblade. Like, if that sword point is super heavy, if it's just like crazy off balance, I'm thinking that's probably what's going to happen. I think all of like a predominant amount of the weight is going to be pushed towards that front sword point, and it's going to be pretty off balance. It'll probably hit like a truck, but I think it'll be like kind of like Shark Edge, where like if you don't make good contact with him like the first couple passes, you're done. But yeah, again, Wizard I think looks great. Very interested to know sort of about the weight distribution and whether or not that'll outclass Hell Scythe. This looks very sort of like original Hell Scythe-y looking, you know, so they sort of like, seems like that motif is going back to Wizard, and then Bird is getting sort of his own sort of three-sided blade. So I like that they're sort of bringing back this Strike Hawk motif. I'm surprised. My prediction was that we would get something like this, but that he would return to like the hawk motif. So I was thinking like we would get like a skull hawk thing, but it looks like this is just like another, just a skull with extra horns on it. So it would have been cool if they would have went back to that chip design, but maybe with like Phoenix, you know, feather and wing, maybe there's too many birds. I don't know. So that's everything. These aren't going to release until the end of March. So we've got the rest of this month, all of next month. They'll release like the very end of March, so we won't get these till April, beginning of April. So it's kind of unfortunate, a bit of a dry period for the next like couple months. So, but there's a lot to look forward to. I'm interested to know what they do with the next chapter. Last chapter, you know, they did the face off with Yggdrasil. So I'm guessing next chapter they do another like Cadover challenge. And then maybe they start working on creating these new Beyblades. That would be my guess. Or maybe they create the Beyblades, then they do the Cadover challenge to show, oh, look how strong they are. Yeah, I expect next chapter to not be, my prediction is like not to really be any battle stuff unless it's like that challenge. I think they're going to be working on formulating these new Beyblades before they end up going to the next floor. So, interested to know everybody's thoughts. Are you guys going to get all of these starters? Are you going to get some of them? Which ones do you like the best? Which chip designs do you like? Which parts are you most interested in? I think, like I said, I think as far as the bits go, I think the drawn bit and I think the Wizard bit look really interesting. I think the Wizard bit for sure could be like a new meta part, 100%, as far as like sort of stamina, even defense. It could be pretty good. I'm interested to know how the burst resistance works because there's so much more weight at the bottom if it bursts easier. I guess, you know, like I said, we'll find out, but everything looks super cool. I'm hyped for all of it. It looks very, very cool. I feel like with every new release, the stuff gets more detailed, like more dynamic looking, like stuff just keeps looking cooler. So I'm very hyped for the future of Beyblade X. One thing that I will mention, it looks like the clear plastic cover over the bit is gone. So like before you had the sticker and then you had the little clear cover on top of that. It doesn't look like that's still here. I think those are gone. So it might just be a sticker. I don't know if those are going to come pre-applied or if there's anything like maybe it's just a flush plastic now that's on top of that. Maybe the sticker's pre-applied, maybe it's not pre-applied. It would be cool if it's not. And then we could get like some variant stickers, you know, they could do like Cora stickers where we could get like different versions of those chip stickers. I think that would be really cool. It's something that I really want. At some point, I would love to be able to customize sort of the chip designs. Yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on that as well. It's just something that in these pictures, it doesn't look like that chip cover is still there. So again, that's another, you know, piece of, it's not a lot of weight, but there's probably 1.5 grams or something. I have no idea. Maybe less than that, maybe 1 gram, I don't know. But yeah, that weight is no longer there either. I'm very, another thing that might be a bit of concern is because those launcher prongs are plastic now, there is some metal that covers a portion of like the drawn sword one, but the wizard one is just straight plastic. The hell one has a little bit of metal on it, but a lot of people super hard angle tilt. I'm wondering if that's going to be a little more risky now, because if you're making metal contact with those little plastic tabs, I wonder if those are going to snap off or chip or whatever. But I don't think X was originally intended to be like launched at like almost vertically. So maybe that's to try to keep people from continuing to do that, because it's kind of, to be honest, it's kind of silly. You know, you're getting to a point where like it's almost just like spinning on it. Like you might as well be launching a bay wheel at that point. Which I don't know. I don't think there's any ruling as long as it's making contact with the bit on the stadium floor. I don't think there's like an angle like criteria in terms of rules, but I don't know, maybe this is their way to try to adjust for that, so we'll see. But yeah, again, I want to know everybody's thoughts, so hit up the comments down below, hit the like for the algorithm, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, you should do that, because I post a lot, I post often, and yeah, I would appreciate it. You should come hang out with me more. Bye.